I would like to see more homes down and be on that pace, but we're not the only communities in the state who have it, who are in the same boat as we are. You can always point to other communities who are doing well. We've actually got conversations with Calhoun County who have quite a number that they need to get as well, and we're trying to incorporate some of their strategies that I think are going to speed us along a lot faster.
Because that's what we need, because we are kind of on the 11th
Well,
hour now.
I'll take responsibility for it. I'll take responsibility for it. I believe that I've corrected what's wrong, and I think that's what needs to be done.
Okay, but you're willing to still answer our questions and bring us up to speed with what you're thinking?
What our plans are to meet the deadline, absolutely. I mean, that's what I hope we were going to talk about.
That's our ultimate desire.
And that's what I was hoping, Lola, that we were going to talk about. How are we going to meet the deadline?
That's coming up right now, part 2. Part 3, actually. Were the matching funds spent somewhere else?
No.
No. This is a reimbursement program. You can't spend the money unless you tear a house down.
I know it is, but the matching funds we have in the general fund, right? Because we got them from the sale of the mineral rights.
They haven't been spent.
Okay. That's a question everybody wants to know, so I thought I'd put it out there and get the answer. The answer is no, they haven't.
It would be impossible to spend that money without council authorization because it's already been appropriated.
Right, they have a certain amount that they have to appropriate, but we understood that, but everyone wanted to know what they do with the money that, you know.
They appropriated the full amount, $500,000.
It's still in our budget.
Thank you. Is the city of Warren in jeopardy of losing the $500,000 from Trumbull County?
No. In fact, we've been given specific assurances to the contrary. There's $1.5 million total.
Okay.
Inclusive of, that includes our $500,000, the money that's been appropriated by council. There's, I believe it's $500,000, what they're calling free money, non-match money, basically, and $500,000 match for a total of $1.5 million.
Okay, I'm still a little confused about a list and what houses are going to be torn down. And when we talked about having this meeting, we decided we weren't going to ask for specific addresses. And we had visions that people were getting a priority if they called and asked you if they could tear the house down on their street. We're just getting an impression of this could turn into chaos instead of a strategic plan that we all agreed we would use back in May of 2012 when we had a public meeting. So if the board, the health department, has all of these homes that are fire damaged, couldn't those have already been tested a long time ago to know if there was asbestos in them? I mean, when we first heard that this plan was going to come down, moving Ohio forward, that these funds might have been made available, couldn't we have tested the fire damaged ones earlier?
I suppose, but that list is fluid. I mean, whatever, you know, there's not a static number that stays on the fire list. So as structures burn.
Yeah, we got another one. We got 2 in the last couple of days.
Exactly.
Right in close to here, you can throw a rock and hit them both. But you are tonight pledging to us that there's a strategic plan that we're going to follow, and it's going to be fluid yet orderly. There is a plan, okay? So I think we want to make some numbers, and Janet Casel is going to add to our little flip chart here.
And Noah, if I can just expand on a question you had, is there any, is anything going to cause us to deviate from the plan from the standpoint of folks calling or, you know, insisting that certain houses?
We heard squeaky wheel.
Okay, we'll go with that. That's not to say that we don't get those calls and don't get stopped on the street and wherever else the mayor, myself, Mr. Keys, or Mr. Pintai are anywhere in the city by, hey, we really need this one or we really need that one. We get the calls. We get the requests.
Every day.
But there's no intention of those taking precedence over the plan. I mean, you listen and you have to, and in many cases, those properties are already on may already either be in the condemnation process or on the board order demo list, or maybe one of the fire damaged houses. So you hope to be able to, when you get those requests, say, yeah, it's coming down and it fits into the plan for moving Ohio forward. So ideally, everyone's happy.
Okay.
But there are times when you can't.
Okay, so if there is according to the plan, how many houses so far have been put out to bid for demo in the priority 1 area?
Can you define what you mean put out for demo?
They've come back from asbestos test, they're in a bed.
Out of the 16, I believe Dr. Jansen, and those are the ones that are ready to come down. Those are the fire dams. We said how many of those are in the priority 1 area? I think 4 out of the 16.
I don't have a list of like priority.
How many have been put out to bid though? That you've gone through, you know, say you're using this list as opposed to this one?
16 has been put out to bid and the contracts have been awarded.
Okay.
25 will go out to bid next week.
Next week? Okay. And per the targeted area, or the priority 1 area, how many have been tested for asbestos?
We just add
Well, all those, of course, have been tested, and there's now 60-some active testers that are being tested. I think probably 15 or 20 of those are back. I don't know exactly.
So if there's 60 out, when the asbestos tests come back, when will that be?
As soon as the lab turns them around.
Is that a week?
Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 3, depending on how many samples they need to take and how many point counts they do.
How many packages is that? How many make up, 60 homes make up how many packages that'll go to a contractor for demo?
Well, that's, you know, again, it's a matter of how much we're doing at what time. We can go up to 30, we can put them all on 1 book. I mean, that's not a problem. In the past, what we've done is if we've had that many, if we've had 60, we might do 3 books of 20 and get them all out at the same time. So our thinking, as they come in, we put a book together. If I have 15, I'll do 15. If I have 20, I'll do 20. Rather than having them sit there and wait for a certain number. So there's no set number that we do.
Could you say that 60 have been tested, or?
I would say 60 is in the process. I wouldn't say the testing is complete.
Okay. So in the process.
Right.
Okay.
That number doesn't include the 16 fire damage already out to bid, so.
Nor does it include the
potentially
second
have
set of
like 70
24, 25. Those 60 are the balance of the 127.
Okay.
So that would be the answer for how many are still to be tested, would be the difference between 127, roughly 60 some.
Around that.
Okay, so, I know. As a group, the WNLC would like to get a commitment from you tonight also as to a date of when we can meet with you to get a report on the progress. Can we do 2 weeks from today? You don't have to come down here, it'd be a phone call to someone's office. We need like a point person, and then someone will call and we'll report back to the WNLC.
I would like to see activity. You know, I know there's certain things that we have to do other than meet to make sure that this thing keeps going. 3 weeks probably would be, I think we'd have something substantial to report. We can report back in 2 weeks, but the 3rd week could be the week where we're having most of our activity. Understand those lab tests have been averaging 3 weeks or more when they come in. That's been part of the hold up. And we can't control that once they're tested. We have to wait for those lab results.
Okay, so would that be, with our caucus for 3 weeks at least? Would that fit?
That good?
With our process? I need a refresher here for my notes. I couldn't write fast enough. Who are John May and McMasters? What's the first name?
Lori McMasters.
Lori?
Love Masters.
Love Masters, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's a whole different person. Who do they work for?
They're in the CD department at the moment.
Okay. So is there any way that maybe one of them should be the person that we can talk to for numbers, or they're processing the,
There are contact people to work with the land bank.
okay.
We'll have those numbers for you, the director will have all of
Should
their
we call Enzo?
information. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Leah Dawson couldn't make it tonight. She was going to do the next part for us, and I was really looking forward to hearing from her. So I'm going to pass it back to Shanika now.
Is there enough capacity to finish is there enough demolition capacity to finish the Moving Ohio Forward program before deadline?